Welcome back to the Ford Tech Garage. I'm Chris, and today we're working on the 45 Willy MB again. I'm going to get the exhaust installed, and that's going to put us one step closer to getting this engine running. Alright, I've got the exhaust system here, ready to put it in the Jeep. We're getting really close to running the Jeep, and so I'm going to need an exhaust system. So let's get this installed. I've got all new hangers, and I'll show you how I install the exhaust system. This is going to be hard to show from under the Jeep, but right here in this hat channel is where this bracket is supposed to be on an ACM Type 2 body. And when we repaired the rust a long time ago, it just didn't get put back on. There's supposed to be one here, and there's supposed to be one back here somewhere. I'm looking at old pictures of what these are supposed to look like, and I just need to gather some measurements so I can make these out of some sheet metal. And it looks like I'm going to make them about, I don't know, 3/4 inch deep and 2 inches wide. So let's fab these up. So this is the bracket we need to make, and it even looks like there's a square nut in there welded in. Here's what I'm looking at for making these brackets. Looking at the pictures, it's just a pretty simple bend. In comparison to the hat channel, it looks like it's approximately 3/4 inch. So I'm just going to do all the dimensions 3/4. Make it simple, just a basic box. And I've got some spare sheet metal that we can go ahead and cut those out of and get them bent up. And then I'll prime and paint them and weld them in. That one's this. Alright, and there we go. We've got 2 brackets that we can weld into this ACM Type 2 body, and those are going to look really good. This is what we're looking at as far as placement. So here's the bracket I've made now. It's all painted up. The nut is secure. I've kind of scratched up the edges. You can see how it's welded just kind of in those corners. So that one will go there, and this one will go down here. Now I'm going to use this picture to try to imagine this underneath the Jeep. Obviously it doesn't have any measurements, but this looks like it's right about in the center of that triangle area, and obviously it's up against this hat channel. And this one down here, we can kind of eyeball that. It's probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches in, set in. I could probably measure this and use that as a guide. So let's go into the Jeep and find the spots for these guys and then weld them in. Okay, so here is the triangular area that we saw in the picture. And so this is going to go right about there. So I just need to clean up the paint and we'll weld it in. This is that rear area. So this is that hat channel, and we want it to be maybe just about like that. So I'll look at that picture one more time, but this will go somewhere right about there and weld that in. snug. I guess I can just tighten it. Just want to leave a room for adjustment if the adjustment's going to be here. So, slide this in. Well, I guess the way I set this up, this one's just a little harder to access. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push this up, and I'm going to push right up to the manifold. It uses a stud. The rear one is just a bolt and nut. So it should be lined up. Oh, sure. There we go. See if this pipe lines up. Oh, look at that. Just like it's supposed to. Oh, I'm very happy with this. I'm very curious to see how this skid plate goes together. Let's see. Yeah, that exhaust. Oof, that exhaust is a little bit off. Let's see. Well, there it is. It's all installed. It looks great. Everything fit pretty good. I'm not really happy with some of those brackets. They came with 12mm bolts, so you can tell they're probably made in Taiwan or China. I ended up swapping out some of that for other hardware just so it fit better. But the exhaust is in, so we're definitely one step closer to getting this Jeep fired up. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a like and a subscribe. We definitely have the Jeep very, very close to running. I'm trying to get caught up on some of the Jeep videos because this summer we're gonna have a lot of other projects going on. I've got the F-250 I want to start working on. Once it warms up, we'll get into some boat stuff, and you just never know what we're gonna be doing in the Ford Tech Garage. So we'll see you in the next one.